Alright, so I'm going to be working on this DELL Inspiron model 3558. So this is having an issue charging. Most likely the charge port mount point is just broken, but we're going to find out. So first thing we're going to get is a PH1 or JS1 screwdriver and remove all the screws from the bottom. It's actually already missing a bunch of them. But yeah, so let's go ahead and take out the battery, slide this latch over, it pops up here, you can flip it over and take it out. If you need a replacement, the battery model number here is M5Y1K. I don't know why it's all blurry. There you go. M5Y1K. Alright, so we'll set that aside. Alright, now let's go ahead and remove all the screws. You do want to keep all the screws in order because they can be different size, shape, and lengths. The way I do that is I put it flat side down on my desk in the pattern I remove them. So just like that. Alright, it's going to be a little confusing because it is missing some screws here, but I'll do my best. Again, you want to take out all the screws. There are screws missing, so keep that in mind. There should be a screw there. Alright, let's go ahead and get this screw out. So if you're just removing the optical drive, you actually only need to remove this one screw here. Alright, once you remove that screw, you can actually just pull this out. It helps to kind of like slide your fingernail up and down here. Let's see, it should come out. I don't know why it's not. Okay, for some reason that's stuck. I don't know why. But, okay, let me rotate this and see if I can do it with both hands. Doesn't want to come out for some reason. Well, let's get rid of the other screws for now. We'll see about this later if it needs to come out. It probably does, but we'll figure it out later. Alright. I might have to get a needle to pop the CD drive out and then pull it out that way. But we'll find out. Alright, so let's go ahead and get all these screws out of the way. Okay, if this video helps you, make sure to like, subscribe, and share my channel with others so that they can also learn how to upgrade and repair their devices. If it helps you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Alright, so we're almost done. It's missing a whole bunch of screws, so there should be 2 other screws in the middle here. I don't think there's anything under this circle here, but let's peel it up just to be safe. Alright, nope, it's just a sticker, so we're just going to stick that back down. Alright, so let's see if I can somehow get this out. I'm going to use a needle. There's a little optical drive release thing here, so I just stuck the needle in there and wiggled it around, and you can see it popped out. Okay, so now let's see if we can pull the CD drive out this way. So I'm going to pull this all the way, and then I'm going to use these little brackets to try and pull it. So it doesn't seem... Oh, there we go. Okay, I don't know why it was so difficult to pull out, but we got it. There we go. We're going to set that aside. Alright, and there's 3 more screws under here, so good thing we did remove that CD drive. We'll remove these 3 screws as well. Right, keep them in order. They're much smaller than all the rest, and you don't want to get them mixed up or you can damage the computer. Alright, so we're going to get this one. Alright, so we got all those screws out. Now, I believe on this model, we actually have to flip it over, remove the keyboard, and then there's screws under there. So let's go ahead and rotate this. We're going to slowly, carefully open this up. You want to do this carefully because there's less screws holding the hinges now. And if you just open it up quickly, you can actually damage the thing. So actually you can see this one was missing the screw. So actually the thing that holds the hinge here is actually already broken, it seems. We'll see. I might have to find another screw and see if I can replace that. Okay, so now to remove the keyboard, we're going to use a thin pry tool. It doesn't necessarily have to be metal, but I found this works best. So there's these little areas here. Let me see if you can see it. Kind of. Okay, so you can kind of see here there's a little clip or latch. So I get in there with the thin tool and then I lift this up. Alright, then while I'm holding this up, I'm going to go to the next one over here and do the same thing. Alright, and it pops up. We're going to do the other one on this side. Pop that up, and then work our way all the way down here. Let me zoom out a bit. Okay, work your way down. There's one here. Okay, and then one more over here. Oh, you can't even see that. I need to zoom out a lot. Okay, let's get that more centered. Okay, and then we'll get that one. Okay, now that you got that, we're gonna kind of flex it in this way to pull the side clips in, just like that, and then we're gonna lift it up, just like that. Be careful, we're gonna pull it forward this way. All right, just to get these little feet out. Slowly lift it up, and here you can see the keyboard connection. We'll flip this latch up, just flip it up just like that. Grab that and then pull that out. All right, so we got the keyboard out. We'll set that aside. Okay, here you can see all these connections in here. Actually, let me zoom in to show this a little bit clearer. All right, we're going to start over here, unlatch that. I believe that's the trackpad connector. Okay, this is held down with an adhesive, so I don't know if we can pull that out, but yeah, I don't know about that. We'll leave that. This is the optical drive connector. All right, so get that out and then lift that up. And then this is the power button connector here. So flip that latch up and then pull that out. If you can, grab the blue tab here. So I got underneath the blue tab, and we're going to use that to pull that out. All right, I don't know about this one. I can't get under there. Excuse me. Let's try with this tool here. It's smaller to get in this little gap. All right, and I have to be careful because if we damage this, the trackpad won't work anymore. So I'll try and grab this purple tab and then kind of wiggle and pull it back. And there we go. All right, so we got that cable out. Here you go. You can see there's actually some adhesive under there as well. I'm gonna peel this. Oops. Oh no, I didn't even show you guys that. Basically, I was lifting this up and then I got underneath the purple tab and pulled that back. Sorry about that. Anyways, I'm peeling this up a little bit. Okay, so because the power button and everything is attached to this top cover, we're going to leave the adhesive there. But again, let's go ahead now and remove the screws holding this part in place. So we got one up here. Okay. We got another one over here. Alright, two, and we got a third one up here. No hidden ones. Hopefully there isn't one hiding under there. Sometimes they hide stuff underneath the adhesive, but in this case it doesn't seem like it, so. Okay, we're gonna slowly move our way over here. Okay, I think these are the last two, so let's go ahead and move that over, and we'll just remove these last two screws. Okay, and the very last one, it seems. Okay, now that we got all these screws out. Oh, if you're wondering, the keyboard, there are no screws that hold it into place. Let's see, are there keyboard model numbers? I guess this is the model number. You can look it up on your own. All right, I'll just show you this and you can try and look up those. Why is it? There you go. Okay, and then there's some stuff here as well. So if you need the keyboard, you can use that to try and look it up. All right, let's go ahead and try and separate these layers here. They seem to be holding pretty strong. I'm probably gonna have to zoom out to show this a bit better. There's all the screws in the way, so let's see here. All right, so I'm gonna try and close the screen a little bit just to show this. All right, so the gap, I don't know if it's from the top or the bottom here. Let's see here. So this is already somewhat coming out where the hinges are. Okay, so let me actually close this a little bit. All right, so where the hinges are, these parts are actually already coming up. So we're gonna lift up from this side, and slowly and carefully it's actually lifting up over here. Okay, I have to be careful. I'm trying to show this on camera, so I have to hold it in weird angles, but normally I wouldn't really have it in this position. So anyways, I'm hanging the screen off the edge of my desk, and let's go ahead and try and wiggle this to pull it up. All right, I'm gonna slide my fingernails over here and see if I can pop this out. There we go. We're gonna slowly continue working our way over. Let me slide my fingernail over this way if I can. Okay, Nope, that one's kind of tough. Let's try this side. Okay, the gaps here are pretty tight, so it's a little tough. There we go. All right, work our way over and slowly, carefully lift this up because the optical disk drive cable is under there. So this cable, as you can see, it threads through this hole and it goes onto the other side. So here you can see we got that out. All right, so that's what I was worried about. These screws are super loose and having some problems here. I don't know if you can see, but this hinge mounts are really loose. Let me actually zoom out a little bit. Okay. All right, so this is a very common issue I've seen. These screws come really loose and then it pulls the hinge mechanism out. So I'm going to tighten these up. Hopefully the hinge mounts aren't broken. They seem okay. Okay, so there we go. So I'm going to add some red thread locker here. Anyways, let me hold this. So I'm holding on to the hinges. I'm going to rotate this and close this up. All right. There we go. So I had to actually hold on to this. So normally what you would do is leave all the back screws here in. So you want to leave these 2 screws in when you work on this until you get the whole everything disconnected underneath the keyboard. So it looks like we didn't have to remove the other 2 cables from the power button and the trackpad cables. We only had to remove the optical disk drive cable. So okay, keep that in mind. You only need to remove those 2 cables if you're taking the whole motherboard out, but we're not doing that in this video. We're actually just checking if the charger can be repaired. So here you can see, or actually let me zoom in a bit here. I got all the screws here, so it's going to be a little tricky, but all right, here you can see the charger is loose here. It's kind of just moving around. I'm going to see if I can... Okay, I can't really reach the charge port under there because it's all the way in there. So I'm going to have to just plug in my charger and see if it shows the charge light. So let me grab my charger here. All right, I'm going to hold this in place up against the charge port, and let's go ahead and plug this in. And do we see any charge lights or anything coming on? I don't even see where the notification lights to tell me if it's charging or not. I don't see any. So we're going to just have to be careful. I'm going to hold, oops, let me zoom out again. So I'm going to hold these hinges down. And then I'm going to push open the screen. Normally you wouldn't do this, but I'm just doing this to test it. All right, so I'm opening it, and I'm going to try pressing the power button while it's plugged in here. Oops, I forgot I need to reconnect that cable. So because we disconnected the power button, we're of course going to have to reconnect that. So let's flip this back over. All right, I unplugged it. And let's go ahead and reconnect the power cable button here. All right, flip that latch down, and the trackpad cable as well. Okay, so get that back in as well. There we go, hold that in place, and then flip that latch down. All right, hopefully it's good. Now, of course, let's go ahead and plug the power cable back in. I am going to have to hold the charge port into place while I plug it in. All right, and then, oh, apparently their hard drive mount is screwed up here. So this is kind of dangerous working on this thing. Let me tighten up some screws here. So this one, the screw mount is actually broken. So I'm gonna hold on to it, this side. All right, so let's go ahead and see if it powers up. If it does, okay, it powers up. So that's a good sign. That means it is working. All right, so I'm gonna push these hinges and rotate the whole thing just like this. Okay, so we got that in. I'm gonna take the charger out. Alright, so it looks like it's good. So what I'm going to do now is get some hot glue and fill this area here, so that way it can't push in. What happened is these screws came loose and it started prying this up and pulling on that and damaged that area. So yeah, we're going to have to now get hot glue and fix that. So I'm going to do that, let the hot glue heat up, and I'll be back. Alright, so there's one other thing I forgot I need to show. So if you look at the hinge here, there's a hole here and a hole here, okay? So when you look at the cover, there's actually only a hole for here. So it looks like a screw is missing from in here. So I'm going to have to look for a screw for that. And then again, this one, it goes to here. So if you can, you want to leave this screw in as well. I don't think there's no screw hole through the other side for up here. Okay, and then this one has only one screw there, and then I believe the other screw goes from the front, from the top cover. So okay, so that's going to be a little tough to work on. I guess normally you would work on this with it open already 90 degrees. But yeah, alright, I'm gonna clean the dust out of here and I'll be back. I'm gonna let the hot glue keep warming up. Alright, and I'll see you guys in a bit. But again, you do want to keep all the screws you can in here, so that it has less force on the few screws that are remaining. Okay, so I'm gonna clean that up and I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. So I cleaned it out a little bit. I forgot that you guys would probably want to see this. So there's the RAM here, okay? You pull to remove it. Let me zoom in here. Okay. I have stuff in the way, so I can't move my computer or move the computer too much. So you just pull these two tabs to the side. The RAM will pop up. All right, and then you can go ahead and pull it out. So this RAM is PC3L 12800S, so that's the type of RAM you want, PC3L 12800S. You can get whatever sticks you want. You can get two 8 gig sticks if you want. I believe they have some 16 gig sticks, but they're super expensive or really hard to find. So probably two 8 gig sticks would be your best bet. Wireless card right here. CPU is soldered to the motherboard. You got the fan connector here. All right, there's the the hard drive there. All right, and this has one of those flip latch connectors. There's two screws holding this here. After that, you can actually pull this out, and then there's 4 screws. Sorry, you can't even see. Let me zoom out. So the 2 screws here. After that, you can lift this up. This bracket, you actually pull it off, but it'll be easier if you undo the latch here that's underneath the tape. Okay, so this has one of those flip latch connectors there. All right, we're going to close that. Then you got the connector. It's a 2.5-inch SATA hard drive. You can upgrade this to a 2.5-inch SATA SSD, which I highly recommend if you're going to be opening up your computer. Makes a huge difference in performance. You do want to clone over your hard drive to the SSD or create a Windows 10 or Windows USB installer, whatever version of Windows you want. You got the power button under here, so that goes to that cable I was talking about earlier that we removed, and then I reconnected it. And then you have the CMOS, BIOS, or RTC battery here. This, you just push it over that way and then you can pop it out. As you can see, there's this notch here, so that way you can use it to push it in. And then you got the speaker connector, of course. All right, so the hot glue is ready. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take the charger. It's better if you use a charger that's not plugged in. So let me actually get their charger. Hopefully their charger still works too, because they could have actually damaged their charger trying to get it to work. But anyways, I'm going to hold this into place. We're going to plug this in. All right. So now that we got that plugged in and it's all lined up right, we're going to use the hot glue to secure that into place. So let me see if I can zoom in here for you guys to see better. Okay, so basically we're going to fill this gap here, the empty area, and that way when stuff moves around, or if it tries to move, it will be held into place. So we're filling this with hot glue. The reason I'm using hot glue is because if I ever need to remove it, I can. I just need to heat it a little bit, or if I use enough force, hot glue doesn't tend to hold very strong. All right, and that's why for this type of thing I use hot glue. All right, so we got that. All right, so I'm gonna try and get rid of this stringy stuff on the hot glue. All right, so we're done with the hot glue. You just need to let that set. Oops, I'm knocking my stuff over. Okay. All right. Okay, so again, we're just gonna let that set, let it cool down completely, and then after that you can unplug that and you'll see that it will hold it in place really well. Okay, so let's see, what are we gonna do now? While we wait for it to cool, let's actually find a screw for this missing part here. All right, so part of the thing with finding a missing screw is you want to check how far the screw is able to go before it hits something. So you can see the screw, it can only go till about that length. So I just use like a needle or something thin. Okay, and we're gonna find a screw that's similar. So I have a whole bunch of like random laptop screws that usually come from broken hinges and other things like that. And usually I have one that will fit perfectly. So let's see here, we got that, and it goes to that depth. So here you can see this screw is shorter. Oops, sorry. So that would probably work fine, though I can also find a screw that's slightly longer to kind of make it hold a bit stronger. So let me see if I have one that's slightly longer but not too long. Okay, possibly this. Okay, so this is definitely still, I think that's about the same length actually. Okay, so that one's a little bit longer. Okay, so we'll use that one. Should be okay. I don't want to make it too long and then it can actually damage the computer. So let's go ahead and grab this screw and we're gonna put that into this spot here. Okay. All right, so there we go. Let's see if I have this right. So we'll take a look at this. 1, 2. So again, they were missing a screw here completely actually. Oh, actually, okay. That makes more sense. So that goes to there. So I was wrong. I thought there was supposed to be a screw that goes here, but this screw actually goes into this. So that means we do actually want a longer screw because there is going to be even more space there than expected. Okay, so let's go ahead and find a longer one. And this is probably longer by a little bit. Okay, so this one will probably do the trick. Let me measure it one more time just to make sure it's not too long. Okay, and come out screw, and we got that, and that should be fine. Okay, so now that we got the glue in, it'll likely hold itself together. So let's just confirm. Right, so here you see the charge port, charger, right? If I unplug it, plug it, here you can see it's staying in place now. All right, and that's not really going to go anywhere. If you want, you can fill more of this side, but usually it's not a big deal because what happens is the plug pushes and cracks there. So it shouldn't be an issue if it kind of goes that way. Okay, so hopefully their charger's okay. And yep, let's go ahead now and start putting everything back together. Okay, so again, let's zoom out. Sorry, I need to keep it zoomed out so you guys can see. It's like 3 or 4 a.m. right now, so I don't have much sleep. Anyways, we're gonna make sure to grab this cable and thread it through there. I can't really show this on camera, I don't think, without making it too difficult. Let me try here. Okay, so let's thread that through there. Okay, there we go. Then we're going to close this up. Sorry, that was a bit difficult. All right, so we're going to close this up now, and we can actually start putting back in some of those screws. So let's click this into place. All right. Oh, I should have done the other thing first. So again, like I was saying, those screws come loose. So I'm actually going to pull this back out. Sorry about that. I made this into a much longer, more difficult video than it needed to be, but let's go ahead and pull this back out. Okay. All right. Make sure that cable comes up through. Okay. And I'm going to use some red thread locker just because these screws, I don't know if you noticed, but they use blue thread locker. And if you've seen some of my other videos, the blue stuff isn't good enough. So I got red thread locker. It's supposed to be more of like a permanent thing. Someone was telling me to use like nail varnish or something instead, but I found this works better. I haven't used nail varnish, but this works well, so we're just going to use that. All right, so you don't use much. You use very little, actually. Okay, so you don't even want a full drop. You just want to kind of like touch it on there. Right, so there you go. I don't know if you can tell, but there's just a little on there. Then we're going to screw this into place. Just like that. All right, we'll take this screw back out and we'll do the same thing. And this stuff basically just locks the threads into the screw, whatever you want to call that, nut, bolt, whatever. And that's why it's called thread locker. All right, so we'll tighten that up. All right, that's very important. Let's go ahead and do that with this side as well. Again, if you have like nail polish or something, you can kind of just brush it on the edge out here, outside there, and do that as well. Just like another viewer commented, but yeah, I like to use this stuff. All right, so there we go. We'll get this screw in. All right, we'll tighten that all the way. Good. All right, so we're still going to need this because we want it to go on the outside screws as well that go into the hinges, right? Because we don't want those to come loose either. So we got 2 screws here. Let's go ahead and put the cover back on. Same thing, you want to thread, again, you want to thread the optical disc drive cable through. I'm going to do it the way I would normally do it, so it's out of view, but you get the idea. I showed it earlier. All right, let's pop this all back in. Okay, everything's good. Now let's go ahead and get these screws. Okay, I actually need a slightly longer one. So this is what these original screws, I guess I have to make sure it's that length. So I don't know if I have one that's exactly that length, but let's see, we'll try and find something. Okay, that's also slightly shorter. And this is probably way too long. Yep. So we might have to just use that. I'll probably just shift around the screws that aren't holding the hinges. Yep. And we'll use that. All right. So let's actually shift around the screws that weren't holding the hinge in place. So this one, because all these screws are about the same length. So we're going to take that. We're going to get the thread locker on there. Okay, and then we'll get that in and tighten that into place. All right, you heard that click into place. All right, I'm gonna make sure that's nice and tight so it doesn't come out ever again. All right, get some more thread locker and put it on this. Okay. All right, hinge screws are the most important ones. There we go. Okay, let's go ahead now and put in a few of the other screws. So I'm going to put in this one here, and we'll put in one down in this corner. So I'm going to get the shorter screw here, and I'm just going to put it in one of the corners. Okay, so let's see if it will hold up here. Okay, that works. So I'll put that screw there. Then we'll use the other screws for out here. Okay, then after that, we're just gonna, of course, put everything else back together. But, I'm gonna put these screws first, just so everything holds itself together a bit better. Alright, don't forget the 3 screws that were hidden underneath the optical disk drive. Okay. Alright. There we go. And we'll get the one that was underneath the battery. Alright, and the other small screw that was here, uh-oh, this screw mount actually is broken, so this screw's just spinning non-stop. I don't know if that screw's ever going to come out again. Let's see here. That's going to be very tough to remove now, I think. Yeah, I don't know if that screw's going to come back out because of that. Alright, well, we'll leave that. If it ever needs to be opened up, I'll have to pry it out. Okay, so anyways, the other screw goes into the CD drive, so we're going to put the CD drive back in, or the optical disk drive. Alright, slide that into place. Then we'll get this screw in here. Alright, let's flip it over. Okay, so one of them, the hinge goes into it, so let's go ahead and open this up. Okay, I think it was this screw. So that screw actually goes into the back of the hinge. So I'm going to add some thread locker to that. Again, we're only going to put a little bit. Okay, and then we'll tighten that in. Alright, that way the hinge mechanism is sandwiched between all of this and it should never come back out. Alright, let's get all the rest of these screws in. And we're pretty much almost done. We just got to get the optical disk drive, the keyboard, and the battery back in. And we should be good to go. I'm going to have to test it with their charger, of course, not mine. I'll actually test it by not plugging it in. Alright, so, or not putting the battery in, sorry. Alright, make sure that latches up. Get the optical disk drive connector back in. Okay, just like that, and then flip that latch down. Alright, now for the keyboard, let me actually zoom in. Should have done that earlier. Sorry, I keep hitting the camera. Alright, get that cable in. Line it up, make sure it's good. Flip that latch over. Alright, slide this back down into place. And then we're just going to snap this all in. You do want to hold the middle up slightly so that you can get these side clips in first. Alright, just like that. Once you got all the sides, you can work your way over the top. There we go. And that's it. We just got the battery there. So let me try with their charger. I'm going to plug that in. And we're going to see if we can power it up without the battery. If we can, then their charger works and the charge port repair was successful. So let's plug this in. Okay, again, I don't see any indicator lights of whether this is charging or not, so we're just going to test by turning it on. And I heard it power up, so I think we should be good to go. Yep, so that's pretty much it. Oh, detected a high temperature. Ensure all cooling vents are clear of obstructions. Okay, I don't know when it got this high temperature, if it was from before. I'm going to continue and then I'm going to turn it off and turn it back on just to check. So I don't know what high temperature it's referring to. Maybe in the past when the customer was using it last with the bad charger or with the charger being broken, it was shorting here and running hot or something. But here you can see it's loading. This does have a spinning disk drive in it, so I don't want to move it too much while it's loading. I want to avoid sudden shock and impacts. But that's pretty much it. We're going to put back the battery, and it looks like it should be good to go. Hopefully this video helped you guys. Again, if it did, make sure to like, subscribe, share my channel with others. If it helped you save a bunch of money, please consider contributing a little to the channel. Every little bit helps and allows me to continue making these videos for a living. Thank you for watching. You're welcome to stay. I'm going to wait till this boots up, shut it down, put the battery in, power it back up, make sure it doesn't have that high temperature warning anymore, and then we should be good to go. So I see the mouse cursor right now. It's saying please wait on here. So it should be good, but yeah, I just want to make sure. So come on, we'll let this thing load. It's taking a while. Huh, everybody's obsessed with Apple. They have an Apple logo for their background, and another owner laptop I worked on had an Apple sticker on their Dell laptop. I don't know. A lot of Dell owners are wanting to have their thing look like Apple, apparently. Alright, so I'm trying to shut it down, but it's so slow. Again, I highly recommend an SSD. That will fix this slow issue. It'll make the computer run so much faster. So if your computer takes forever to load, there's a good chance just get an SSD and it will fix that issue. Alright, so I'm going to shut this down. Let's actually close this. I hear it's still running, so I have to be careful. Alright, let's flip this over. Okay, and let's go ahead and put the battery back in. So the battery, you put the back in first, flip it down like that, click it in, there we go. I'm going to power it back up, make sure that it's not overheating. Oh, there's the charge light. So down here in this corner, I didn't notice that. Okay, so it wasn't lighting up earlier, it's lighting up now. So alright, let's power it up. Make sure that overheat warning is gone for good. If we see the spinning right away, we should be good to go. Yep, so we should be good. There's no overheat warning anymore. I did clear out the dust from the laptop, so hopefully that fixed whatever heat issues they were having. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Let's drop this. Bye.